second part of the introduction from the Science of Mind. And so it's the 4-week series. Last week, the thing itself. This week, the way it works, what it does next week, and how to use it. Yes. And I'm glad I have a second memory here just in case, because I don't always have them memorized. But that is what we will be doing today, is the way it works.
Remembering our pattern here. I think it's a funny title, The Way It Works, because we're talking about God, and God doesn't work necessarily, because God is the essence of all that is. God is an essence, God is a being, not a doer. We are the doers. God is the source of that which we do. And so therefore it seems odd to me when we talk about the way it works, when it really, well, it does work. It works through us. But it doesn't necessarily work necessarily. And it's kind of funny that Wayne would choose this quote today. Emerson says, "For it is only the finite that is wrought and suffered. The infinite lies stretched in smiling repose."
Very good, Wayne.
Yeah, right there on my paper. We are in like mind today because we are connected with the one mind, are we not? The way I see it is God's work was done on the seventh day. And at that point on, it was man's work to bring about the essence of divinity on this place called Earth, or in this universe, physical universe. And I think quite often man plans and God laughs. Because God's work is done, that's why God can lie in smiling repose, because God's work is done. It's our process that we bring about in our life experiences that really matters to us here and now today. Ernest Holmes says there's one energy back of all that is energized. There's one energy, and everything else is energized through that energy. He's saying there's only one energy source in the universe, and that is the energy that beats our hearts, sustains our life force, enables and empowers us to move, think, and live. That energy is the very life within us and as us. Do you ever think it's kind of a miracle that we can wake up every day? We wake up, we don't have to plug in and charge overnight and hope we're going to wake up and hope our alarm's going to go off in the morning when we wake up. Our body wakes up on its own if we let it. It's because we're tied into a universal energy source that allows us to do that. We're like a cordless existence. We don't have to be plugged in. We don't have to be rooted down. We can move about and do what we want. We have this kind of nuclear energy that's going on inside of us, although it's not necessarily nuclear. It's just an energy source that enlivens us and enlightens us. We're not like a battery in our phone that we have to plug in and be able to use it the next day, or a battery in our car that has to be charged so we'll be able to use it. We're already charged automatically. We don't have to connect because we are one with all that is. We don't have to work the system, we just need to learn how to think about it and learn how to use it. So Ernest Holmes says, we shall find a better God when we shall have arrived at a higher standard for man. I think it's kind of a backward statement there, because he's talking about when we get to the point where we understand how God works, we will feel like we've got a better God, because we have actually enabled ourselves to be accessible to its source energy. Not because God has changed, because we have changed. So I'll say that again. Ernest Holmes says, we shall find a better God when we shall have arrived at a higher standard for man. And of course, we'll know that. But when we have been able to figure out how to use the system, we will be able to feel like we've got more connection to the source energy of all that is. Deborah has this great song she wrote a long time ago. We used to sing quite a bit. We haven't for a long time. I'm connected, fine-tuned, and alive in the spirit. When I'm connected and I'm fine-tuned, I'm alive in the spirit. Ernest Holmes says, in that sanctuary of our own nature, hidden perhaps from objective gaze, nestles the seed perfection. The seed of perfection is the God nature within us. It's our pure God nature that never leaves us. It's always there. It's the seed at the center of our being. Each of us is God at an individualized level. It's like an acorn that holds all the magnitude and vastness of an oak tree. It's like every cell in our physical being that carries the full sequence of our personal DNA. It's like the full nature of the ocean and every single drop in the ocean. Each is a seed within the vastness of all that is. And that's what we are as individualized aspects of the one life. We are all one with the creative process, and the law always works according to how we use it. As Jesus said, it is done unto you as you believe. The thoughts and beliefs we hold manifest in our experience. And if you want to change those experiences, all you have to do is change the thoughts that created them. Ernest says, we suffer not because suffering is imposed upon us, but because we are ignorant of our true nature. We don't remember that we are God energy in expression. The full power and presence of all that is within every single cell of my being. I don't always remember that. And so I have some stinking thinking that plays out in stinking characteristics in my life. There's a fascinating study now in modern science called fractal geometry. And okay, I want to remind you to keep your minds open right now, because here we go, David, start talking about science again. We're going to get all mind-boggled, but it's really pretty simple. So it's a little bit easier than quantum science in some respects. Fractals are complex patterns. And when you zoom into a fractal, what you'll find that each part of the fractal is made up of other fractals that are exactly the same as the bigger picture. And so if we zoom in, we'll find exactly the same patterns going on at a smaller scale. If you zoom in on those smaller scales, you'll find that at an even smaller scale than that, the exact same pattern is happening. This happens throughout all of nature. It's really quite fascinating, and it's used, or it's evident in the development of galaxies. It's element in our cells, in our DNA, and it's evident in those ice crystals that Kathy was talking about a couple weeks ago. Ice crystals, when they develop and they break off, and you see how ice crystals grow? Those are fractals. And those fractals are exactly the same. If you zoom in on them and look at them, they're exactly the same as the mother ice crystal from the very beginning, but they just keep expanding. That's what a fractal is. If you think of us as fractal energy, we can maybe understand the nature of us within the nature of all that is God. Hafiz says, all the talents of God within you. How could this be otherwise when your soul derived from his genes? That's who we are. Do you understand that? That's who you are. That's who I am. When we understand our true nature, we realize our union with divine.
You did a magnificent job explaining those fractals, didn't he? Yeah, because the first time he said them, I'm going to tell the story, of course. The first time he said it, I was like, okay, well, I'm not saying that anybody at the center has a problem with this, but will you dumb that talk down for me, because I didn't understand all that sciencey stuff you just said. And he said, well, I don't understand what you don't understand. And I was like, well, I don't understand what you're talking about. It sounded like it was pretty interesting, but I didn't understand it well enough. And so to me, the lovey-dovey right side brain, it's all it's all about the oneness. And to David, it's broken down into little minute fractals that are also as big as a galaxy. How awesome is it to know this kind of information? Because it validates more the science of mind as if we needed to. So we don't need to, and I am going to share with you the first two paragraphs that Ernest Holmes wrote in this particular part of the book. And I invite you to read these for yourself. If you have the textbook, read these every day this next week. It's powerful for life transformations. He writes, "The science of mind is not a special revelation of any individual. It is rather the culmination of all revelations. We take the good wherever we find it, making it our own insofar as we understand it. The realization that good is universal, and that as much good as any individual is able to incorporate in his or her life is his to use, is what constitutes the science of mind and spirit. We have discussed the nature of the thing as being universal energy, mind, intelligence, spirit, finding consciousness and individualized centers of expression through us, and that man's intelligence is this universal mind, functioning at the level of man's concept of it. This is the essence of the whole teaching." Powerful. We are powerful, each and every one of us. So there is this thing called the thing itself in this particular part of the textbook, which is the first cause of all and finds its outlet through each one of us in our livingness. This is why we so often use the words from Acts in Science of Mind. In Him we live and move and have our being. The Bible is full of words and stories and people who understood the universal lives within. And we too, in Science of Mind, understand this practice, understand this principle, this idea, and understand that it is living through us. Our thought and our emotion is the use we make of the universal. Our thought and our emotion is the use we make of the universal, whether we do it consciously or unconsciously. And so now we will unveil the table of plenty.
Are you ready? Are you ready to receive?
Oops. No Halloween.
Probably use the mic back there.
Yeah, I know, but you're behind me and I can't see you very well. Okay, I'll just,
It's right here. It's called the sound.
sorry. Okay. So, we, each one of us, have been given many gifts, and they were bestowed upon us as our original state by our loving Creator. Our celebration today is based on these ideas that we've just shared and on summed up by the saying on that plate over there, to learn how to think is to learn how to live. Our celebration is a symbolic way of recognizing our nature and how it works through us as we work it. And so I came up with the idea because I thought, there might be someone there that says, "Candy, now why are they trying to fill us up with sugar?" Well, you don't have to eat it.
You can give it back.
Absolutely.
You have a choice.
Absolutely, we're always at choice. But I thought, well, what other ways could it be used? So here are a few, and I know that it's unlimited in the ways that you can use it. You can eat it right now. You can open it and eat it. You can share it. Maybe even throughout your week, you could put it in your bag, because everyone got a bag when you came in. You could put it in your bag. You're going to have an affirmation to go with each of the candies. And you could give it to people that you see throughout your week and spread and share that love and the gifts and the blessings. Another thing you could do is keep it in your bag and challenge yourself each day. There are 8 of them. So each day for 8 days, challenge yourself to see how well you live. At the end of the day, sit down for a little meditation time and just analyze your own day. How peaceful was I? How joy-filled was I? What knocked me out or didn't? And then reward yourself with a little sugar or a little tasty treat, if you so desire, or just have some apple pieces there beside and reward yourself with that and give that away. However you want to use it, it's yours to use. The affirmations, hopefully very life-changing for anyone who's looking to make any changes. So let's begin. The nerds represent the intelligence of life living within you at all times. Remember to listen to the silence within you, your direct line of communication. We often call intuition or instinct. So you are guided by your every decision. Go ahead and crumple those bags.
So later when we're going to actually get rabbits.
So I now share symbolically the nerds that represent intelligence along with that affirmation.
Abundance is represented by paydays. Unlimited possibilities exist in this glorious universe of ours. We get to choose, so open your mind to receiving and trust that as you keep your mind focused on your desires and goals, all things are possible. Paydays.
And I forgot to say this is an interactive, so you're being put to work, a little exercise.
Work off the sugar.
You can even think of it as a puzzle. You can go home with your bag and then put the candies with the right affirmation. Joy is an inborn quality of life represented by the almond joy. It is meant to be experienced by each one of us as we live, love, laugh, dance, talk, play, work, and experience life. As you enter into the joy of life enters into you.
Snickers represent the zeal of life. Zeal is great energy or enthusiasm in pursuit of a cause or an objective. Where would we be without the laughter, humor, and fun found all around us? Follow your dreams with great zeal. And speaking of fun, I would like to point out that each of these Snickers says fun size.
No, just set them on that table. Thank you. You got the working seat. Twix represents imagination. Think outside the box. Think big and then think bigger. Whatever you think about, you bring about. If you can imagine it, you can achieve it. You are an imagination station, a self-contained unit. Know thyself.
This Lolly Hearts bouquet represents love. Awakening to the nature of love, you realize you are love. What a blessing to show love through our words, actions, and thoughts, not only for others, but also through loving ourselves. Say, I am love.
I am love.
So it is.
The next candy is called Symphony. And so just imagine that a symphony is playing here at our center. Symphony represents the peace that lies within you and is ever available. Its music is intricately designed, so you may at times appear entangled in situations around you. Know the presence of peace within is awaiting your recognition. You're choosing it and being it. Peace. You can read the paper here to see the difference between these. One has nuts and one doesn't. And they are broken, and we left them closed for germs, because everything else is wrapped.
So peace is spelled P-I-E-C-E.
What?
Mr. Goodbar represents the goodness of life. Willingly look forward to a greater good, to your highest good. Give thanks for all the good you are, have, give, and receive. Goodness can never be depleted. Open up and accept. You deserve all good. But you don't deserve all Mr. Goodbars, you only deserve one.
Well, that's not true. Unlimited supply. So we wrote this and did this with our children at Christmas time. And we had such a good time, and they laughed and they took turns reading. We had them read the affirmations themselves, and we just watched. We gave the directions and then they did it. And it was amazing, the feelings in the room, the power in the room. And I looked at David and I said, oh, we have to do this for everybody at the center. We just have to. This is too good to pass up. So maybe you'll do it with some of your family members next year or something similar. So I'm going to wait, I'm going to wait until they're all passed around and on the table, because we're going to conclude today with a poem that was written by a fellow minister, Reverend Cynthia James from Mile High Church. And she wrote this poem called New Beginnings, A Different Perspective. And she wrote it as a way for each of us to manifest the life we truly desire. It's an invitation to open to new possibilities and expression without struggle. And so once those are all passed around, I'm going to invite you to put everything aside and to think of her poem as a prayer as you listen to it. Maybe close your eyes if that feels right for you. This year does not arrive with a checklist. It does not ask us to build faster, reach higher, prove anything to the world. It arrives quietly, like a breath returning to the body, like dawn remembering itself. This beginning invites us inward, away from the noise of striving and into the sanctuary of essence, into the place where we are already whole. Here, becoming is not manufactured, it is remembered.
uncovered aloud. This is a year for listening more than declaring, for sensing truth before shaping form. A year to ask not, what must I do, but who am I when I am fully present? We bow to the intelligence of the earth, to the rhythms older than ambition. We honor the people beside us, not for what they produce, but for the miracle of their being. This is a devotion to presence, to kindness practiced daily, to integrity lived quietly, to love expressed without agenda. Here, effort softens into alignment. Action flows from authenticity, and purpose emerges naturally when we choose to be at home in ourselves. This is the year of embodiment, of truth lived, not announced, of spirit expressed through ordinary moments. A new beginning, yes, but not one that asks us to become more, only to be fully, faithfully who we already are. And as we sit in the quiet, let us remember that truth. The affirmations that we have in the bag near us, those are affirmations of truth for who we are. And in so much gratitude for this time of sharing together, we say together, and so it is.